Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time zone you're calling into. My name is Anita Pathik. I am the founder of the Power of Our Way community, and I suppose the instigator for this new focused initiative that we're beginning at UnitedForHealing.com. Today we're going to be investing a little bit of our time and energy. We're going to be outlining today the beginnings of the intention and vision and a little bit of background to support that, as well as really invite each of you to participate in adding to the shared intention around United for Healing. So I really encourage you to ask questions, to share ideas, comments, and certainly to join us in creating that collective intention and vision. In terms of a little bit of history, for those of you who have been around in the community, hopefully you have this background. I'm not going to go real deep into the story of it. There are audios on the website that go a little deeper into the story of how the Power of Our Way community, as well as the book that will be used, The Power of Our Way, A Path to a Collective Consciousness, were really gifted to me during a period of time where I was going through a profound radical healing from a physical, I want to use the right language here, I was going through a healing crisis, let's call it that, and a healing journey. And on the back end of that, I awoke to the entire outline of The Power of Our Way, A Path to a Collective Consciousness. We did release that in January of 2006, along with The Power of MyWayMovie.com. And since that period of time, we have developed a community of about 12,000 members internationally. It was interesting last year, just before August of 2007, during the month of July, I was very much impacted and influenced by the increase of violence that we were seeing between Hezbollah and Israel. And we launched, in response to, again, another layer of inspiration, we launched the Power of Our Way Peace Experiment. You can go see information about that at powerofmyWay.com/peaceexperiment.html. And what was interesting in that process was that in just a short few weeks, because of some of the letters that I was receiving, in particular from a community of Muslims in Lebanon, a community of Jews in Israel, and then a youth group in Palestine, we were able to facilitate connecting those three communities together around the intention of peace. Now, you'll hear me now refer to that as the peace experience as opposed to the peace experiment, because very quickly, as we began to see the first few people joining, we recognized that it was no longer an experiment, it was an experience. Now, a few months ago, I was speaking with an old friend of mine, the minister that actually that played a very important role in the beginning of my healing. In fact, she was one of the first people that I went to after my doctor at the time had told me I was really needing to prepare to die. I went to this minister, her name is Judy Elia, and asked her for assistance. I said, I'm going to heal. I don't know how. I don't know what that's going to look like, and I know that I can't do it myself. I need help. And she played a very important role in those beginning stages of my healing journey. Several months ago, I was on the telephone with her, and I was inspired to really look at the United for Healing concept. Now, to backtrack a little bit, for those of you that have not been around, the entire purpose of the Power of Our Way community is to raise consciousness and build bridges of higher understanding. Those bridges occur at a couple of different levels. The first bridge is really building bridges of higher understanding within ourselves. The next is building bridges of higher understanding within ourselves and in our relationship with Source, Creator, God, the universe, Allah, whatever that name is that you most resonate with when you are referring to your higher power, that center place of the one shared consciousness, the source of all things in creation, building that bridge of communication and relationship between ourselves and Source is incredibly essential. The third bridge, of course, is within relationships, and my husband and I do work in spiritual partnerships and relationships. We then move into a bridge of building bridges of higher understanding in business and leadership, and then the final bridge is across cultures and religions. I do see us potentially adding a bridge as it relates to the environment and the earth, although I think that when we look at the bridge within relationships, we're often looking at the relationship we have not just with others, human beings, but also the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, and all of the plants and trees and the earth and the environment and what we are doing in relationship to those aspects of both our consciousness and our living. However, the idea around United for Healing, which is really short for United Churches and Religions for Healing and Peace, is that we begin to encourage communities, intact communities. It doesn't matter if it's a community of 2, 3, or 10,000, but we're encouraging communities in churches, mosques, temples, various spiritual centers. We've got a yoga studio that's getting involved to go through the power of our way process as a community, as a collective. I do anticipate that this will be repeated. It's going to be the first month that we're really inviting and encouraging intact groups to enter into this process together, many of them utilizing some of the support that we're going to be offering, however, really building a sense of community and collective intention together. So that's sort of the basics of what we're looking at. I also want to mention that you're going to be joining in a number of faith traditions. We just wrapped up a 6-week Ministers and Teachers program that we ties to all ministers and teachers who were interested in going through the Power of Our Way journey, to be sort of guided and led through that by me once a week. We just wrapped that up, and within that group, we had many interfaith ministers, but we also had ministers in the Baptist faith, Unitarians, a significant number of unity churches, the Baha'i faith. We had Buddhist, a Catholic community. It was just an amazing opportunity to really bring together teachers, ministers, leaders of faith, religion, spiritual practice together and embark on that journey. The larger picture, we have members of the Peace Experience who span pretty much every country that you can imagine. We haven't quite made it into Russia yet for whatever reason, but we do see members across almost every country in the region, and we've had some significant increases in the numbers throughout the Middle East. So we've got members in Iran, we've got a few in Iraq, we have folks from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Palestine, Israel, Lebanon, Cyprus. I mean, it's just, the list goes on and on. So in addition to the smaller communities that you may be enjoying and walking through this process with, I also want you to imagine that you are connecting into this much larger group, some that are going to be entering into it a little more passively and some that are going to be entering into it a little more actively. Another layer to this is not only setting an intention for yourself, for your own healing, for your own inner peace building, also to be setting an intention for the group that you're going to be traveling through this with, and setting an intention possibly for a specific region or a specific desire on the global community level. So I want to be able to share the logistics of walking through this process as a collective in honor of United for Healing. So this is the ideal, and it's the vision that I've begun to formulate